Hello. All right, so now we just need to wait for Molly to log on. Hello. Hey! Yost! What up, Kurt? My buddy. Alright, Molly McCook. Everybody thinks that this is like the bold type closet, but this is my closet. Also. My house isn't that big, but I just made sure that the closet was, you know, bold type stuff. Also, Kurt, I need to have you on one of my Instagram lives. Okay. Wait, Molly just requested. Go live at...
All right, is it working?
Yeah!
I don't know what's happening.
This is fun!
Oh my god, cute! You can put a filter on it?
Yeah.
Wow, I missed out. Well,
I was
probably
like,
you, because it's on
No,
you.
you can do it on yours, can't you?
Cheers, I haven't taken a sip yet.
This is fun.
Hi.
All right.
My quickest.
So
Yes.
welcome. So I've decided to call my Instagram lives Hold the Phone, because we're all technically holding our phones. And
Yes, we
everyone
are.
who's watching it is holding their phone.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like we're going to be talking about things that are going to be like, hold the phone, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Multiple meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, Connie's on.
Oh my god.
And Brian Dare. I love that I could just see everybody who's on
Hi,
here.
everyone.
What have you been doing in quarantine?
Oh my goodness. Honestly a lot. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Oh, well, tell everybody what you just got a puppy.
Yes, we got a puppy, Aussie Doodle.
Oh my God, kill me.
She's about to be 9 weeks. But she's such a little
so
pumpkin.
cute.
Her name is Maxine. She's unreal. But we're fully like newborn parents. Like we're very tired.
Betty, whose comment on the dog was my favorite, where she said, "I can't wait to boil her and eat her."
Yeah. That's my favorite. Her vocabulary with Hicks is always like, I can't wait to put him in the oven and make him for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
When they're so
but
cute,
like
you just wanna
not
eat.
PETA,
Not
not
really, not actually. But you know when like you see like a baby's leg and you're just like, I want to eat it. Like,
yeah, exactly. I want to eat you.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Also, I'm not flicking everybody off. I sliced my finger really badly yesterday cooking.
Yeah.
So like people were asking me to do cooking videos. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's relatable. We all cut our fingers cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, quarantine, trying to stay busy. I'm just watching
I know.
TV while cooking. I'm distracted. I cut my finger.
Yeah,
But,
puzzles and things.
But in seriousness, you were also, because we were shooting the finale of The Bold Type, you were also shooting your finale for Last Man Standing, right?
Yeah. We were in the middle of, literally our last episode. We had done 3 days of rehearsals, and then we don't work over the weekend, and then we only had 2 days of shooting, and they pulled the plug on everything, and that's what we had to do to be careful. And I'm glad that we did it, because I'd rather have us all be safe,
Same.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
All right. So we got a lot of people who like sent us DMs, but one person, I hope I'm saying this right, at Gabe XB, wants to know how we became friends. And also she says that your wedding gave her big wedding inspo because she's a Corona bride. But she also wants to have bridesmen, and she wants them to wear pink.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you. I mean, not that I'm the first one to do it, but Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. I mean, honestly, I got inspo. Every single detail of my wedding, and I'm sure with yours too, came from photos and videos that I've seen of previous weddings too. So that's how you have to do it. Unless you're like, have
Yeah, mine
all
was like
original.
very Pinterest. But my
Yes.
wedding, I was like, well, we'll get to our weddings. That's later on. But how
Yeah.
did we meet?
How did we meet? Well, I
Do
want
we
to say
have different stories? I met you. I think I met you at this. I knew who you were,
uh
but in 2011 we both auditioned for Spring Awakening.
Is that when we met?
That's like when we like met because that was
Sure.
when I was like we like were finally like talking, and I was
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh,
I mean,
it's me.
and it's also hard to know, like, when you watch someone like on American Idol, it's like hard to see them in a room and be like, do I know you really? Or do I just watch you on TV?
And I was like, that girl from Monk.
Stop.
Wait,
I
no,
only did
in
one episode when I was 15, so that's
no, but in
separate.
real talk, last night Molly and I were talking about doing this Insta Live, and I was like, just doing my research, even though you're my best friend and I like know so much about you, I was just like, maybe I can find things that I don't know about her. And I was
Yeah.
like, she was on Monk.
Yeah. Remember that show? That show was
Can
so
you
good.
will you tell your Monk story?
Yeah, briefly. So, fun fact, and it's such like a funny industry story. I was 15. This was my first professional job ever, and I was so excited. And I was a part of this like church high school group that was amazing. We went on all these trips, and it was just like a really great community. And every Sunday we would kind of like sit in a circle and share like, anybody have any updates, you know. And this is like so LA. I grew up in LA, by the way, for people who don't know that.
Alien.
But yeah, but a lot of the announcements were like, you can catch me on this week, and you can do this. And so Jennifer Lawrence was a part of our high school group for a moment, and she raised her hand and said, I'm so excited. I'm going to be on the show Monk. I'm going to be playing this character, Emily. And I was like, I'm playing an Emily character. And there were 2 Emilys in the episode. And that was like a big, funny part of the story. And my side of the story is basically that I went and I like knocked on her trailer door and it wasn't her. And I was like sort of confused, and I was like, oh, why did she lie? That's so weird. And then cut to her being like the most famous movie star in the world. And she's like on Conan telling the story about Monk and how she booked an Emily job and then got there and they like pulled the rug out from under her, and she ended up being just only having one line and being a mascot, and her head was under a big mascot head anyway. And she never showed her face again at our church. So I never got to talk to her. I haven't run into her. I just want to be like, hey, well, look what happened.
Man.
You're doing okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so then you did stuff like Glee. Then you were on The Ranch, which was my personal fave because How's Ashton Kutcher?
Oh, he's a dream.
Ugh.
You know what I actually really like about him? He's very, very much, because The Ranch was his baby. And so he was very, very focused and like executive producer mindset, like the whole week. And then come showtime, because it was a live show, he had like the time of his life. He like opened up his dressing room to everyone, and everyone could have a drink before the show or after. And he was like a different person. So he was just very, very professional, but also very sweet.
So that was multicam too, right?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Oh, awesome. So then you just like had a leg up moving into Last Man Standing.
Yes and no. The Ranch was like really, if you've seen it, it's very dark.
Yeah.
It actually is like the most not multicam kind of show that you can watch that happens to also be live. Like, I had like the worst potty mouth on it in the world, which is definitely not the case.
It was my favorite part.
Of the time. Every time they were like, hey, we want you to come back. And I was like, great, can't wait to see what I'm saying. So yeah, I was used to an audience, but then like you can never get used to what that feels like. And also I wasn't a part of that family. I kind of like came in, and even though it was so much fun and everybody was really sweet and welcoming, there was obviously something so different about like being there every week as opposed to like once in a while. So.
and everybody is commenting like Glee question mark. For people who don't remember, Molly was in the like Neil Patrick Harris flashback when Morrison's. I'm like doing the snap like you were in the show.
He did a magic trick during our song. And which was real. He really did it.
Oh my God, John Krause is on this?
He is, from the living room?
Your husband?
I'm trying to hear him laugh. Is your husband watching?
Yeah, but talk to me, because for people who don't know, you replaced another actress who also played Mandy. And look, I have been your friend for a very long time, and we did the Cruel Intentions musical together, and I was always like, how is this girl not the biggest superstar in the world? Because I'm talking to you, but for those of you who don't know Molly, she's like one of the most talented human beings that I know, and one of the most beautiful actors that I know. So I was always like, her time needs to come. Like, it just needs to come. So then I was so excited for you when you booked Last Man Standing, because you were also doing Good Trouble at the time. And it was just like one thing after another, like stars were aligning. But I know that it was kind of difficult for you because since you were replacing people, people were a little rude and not so welcoming to you. And I just watched you handle that with so much grace, but I'm just like curious as to.
I mean, publicly I did.
Yeah.
I did what I could. And
well, I know privately
Chad,
it was a little more messy, but.
Chad is like our number one Last Man fan, and we love him. He's been so wonderful to me. Hi.
Yeah.
I mean,
My brother just commented, Jordan and I paused Bad Boys for Life.
I just saw that. Wow,
this is just like Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, this is a great replacement. I mean, no one can prepare you for that kind of journey, which is basically you're handed the job of a lifetime that I have dreamed about for years and years and years and years since I was a little girl. And yet in exchange, you're kind of given a ton of negativity, which is like kind of a weird balance. It's like I couldn't fully celebrate it because it felt like so many people weren't happy that it was me. And yet then I would go to work and everybody there was like, it was like I had been there all along.
Yeah.
And so it was just like kind of like taking everything and putting it together and being like, no, but I deserve to be here. And granted, like, I think that now what I've come to after doing 2 seasons with everyone is that, like, I mean, I've blocked a lot of people. But a lot of people,
it's like people don't know what happens behind the scenes. Like that actor, I mean, I don't know, but like that actor that her contract was up and, you know, she wanted to go off and do other things. So it's not that like people are taking something away from you, but like, I think that people don't take into account the fact that like, this is what you've been working for your whole life.
Well, and
so like for people to be so like, you're not my, like, it's just.
And it's not my fault. It's not like I came forward and I was like, I'm going to steal this away from you. And then, you know, and it's like, I think a lot of people have come around. Most people have, which has been great. And now all I've done is just, I've learned to take in the positive. I think that's how social media works, is like I can read like 10 comments in a row, more than that are like, and I know that you can relate to this, that are wonderful and that are so complimentary and that mean a lot. And then there can be one that just like stabs me in the heart. And that's the one that I go to and think about forever. And I'm like, why does that matter in the grand scheme of things? And then like once in a while, I'll even go down a rabbit hole and I'll click on this person's profile and see that they literally, all they do is troll.
Yeah.
And that's when I let it go and I go, oh, got it. This is what you do. It's not
about
it's
me.
Literally not me. Yeah. I just don't.
It's hard though.
It's weird.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even things like, even sometimes people who are saying something to me in like a complimentary fashion, I like get butthurt, or I get in my head about something. It's so crazy.
No, it's social media is kind of a messed up world. It's like, it's a twisted, weird place, and we have to learn how to navigate it. And
Somebody just wrote, there could be 100 people in a room and 99
Yes.
don't believe in you, but one does.
I love it. It's
So
true.
another question I got was from Kathleen Copeland O'Hara. She says, how do you encourage others who are striving for the same dream as you? I guess that's just like, what advice do you have for people who want to do the
Sure.
same thing?
I mean, we know we're around. I mean, we're around and have been for years. People who love to do the same thing that we do. They're all actors or performers, and so that's kind of the industry that we're in, is like learning to support each other and not see each other for years, and then like there you are in the same room at an event, and you're like, look at us, we did it, you know?
Yeah.
But in terms of like encouraging each other, that goes along with what we were just talking about, just like being encouraging and positive and helping people. I mean, everybody can be on different levels of success or not. But that doesn't mean that you can't like be a good source in their life for advice and help, and, you know.
And I think it's also like, I think our industry causes for a lot of comparison, but also has a lot of comparison in it. So like, what I mean by that is, you know, people who aren't actors, who aren't, you know, in the industry whatsoever, look at people in the industry and see the Instagram nonstop of like, this person's life is perfect, this person's life is, you know, whatever, this person's skinnier than me, or this whatever. And people look at us and will be like, you know, I don't have that, or I don't have this, not realizing that we all do that too.
Yeah.
And like, I've found, you know, that I compare myself to so many people, but what really started changing for me is I started booking things when I realized that, like, once I stop comparing myself to people is when I'll succeed, because then I'll be able to find out what makes me unique, because we're all going in with the same script, the same this, the same that, and it's like, who you are is the only thing that's going to set you apart.
Yeah. I mean, I think that actually, and even the question doesn't have to do with the industry, does it? Specifically, it just in general, dreams.
Well, I think she did say in her post that she's wanting to be.
Right. I would, to piggyback off of that, I definitely agree, because that's everything. I mean, literally the one thing that I was horrifically ashamed and embarrassed of was my height for so long. I'm 5'11".
So
I've been tall my whole life. I haven't been 5'11" my whole life, but like I've always been taller than everyone. And in acting, like, that was an issue. I would literally be told she's the best one that we saw for this role, but she's too tall. And that's something that I couldn't control. And so because it was so negative for so long, I learned to hate it. And it was like just one, I had literally a couple different acting coaches who were like, that's going to be what sets you apart. That's going to be what makes you special.
Yeah.
And it does. And like, you just have to learn, like, we all have insecurities. And I think a lot of people look at people on TV or movies or just like in limelight in general, and they assume that they don't have any of that. And that's just like not true. In fact, I think that those people are probably the most insecure people that there are in the world, because they're in the public eye. So yeah. Just
I also say to people who want to be in the industry, I'm like, also though, like, cultivate your life outside of it. Like, find a hobby of something that you can love equally, because it's really hard. It's really, it's a really hard industry, and you can get down on yourself. But if you have other things that you're cultivating outside of it, and that goal is not the end all be all of your happiness and you being content in your life, then like, you'll succeed at it, because it's you have other things going on in your life.
100%. Literally looking back, the moments where I wasn't working in the acting world, it was because I was unhappy. Like, it was because I wasn't in a good place and wasn't confident, and I would walk into a room and they would feel that from me. But that's so true. If you just have a happy life, like, when I booked Good Trouble, I hadn't worked in a long time and I was not feeling good and I was not feeling confident in myself. I know that I'm talented, but like I knew that something wasn't working and I was so frustrated. And John proposed to me, and the next day I booked Good Trouble. And like that to me was like the biggest sign of like, oh, you have to be happy, like period. You have to know like what makes you happy and like makes your heart full, and then you can like walk into a room and exude that happiness, and that's like irresistible to whoever.
Someone just commented and said, do you remember when you were both gonna do Rockaway? Shout out Jordan Ross.
You said someone said that?
Someone said, somebody,
oh, someone else? I thought you meant it was Jordan.
No, Jordan didn't.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
That I remember the most, like spending time with you, but I did already know you, but like that
we already knew each other, but we spent so much time together.
Putting a video together and like doing photo shoots, and then, well.
And then life.
Yeah, the True Intentions like took its place, and that's the best.
Okay, so other thing we have to talk about. So Cruel Intentions, I was playing Sarah Michelle Gellar. You were playing Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Constantine was OG Sebastian, aka Ryan Phillippe, but then when Constantine couldn't do it, in rolls John Krause.
Yeah, baby.
And then you guys found love on stage, and now you're married. Yeah. It's gonna be better than Reese and Ryan Phillippe, but I just do think that it is very strange. It is very strange.
That's
that,
like
Reese and Ryan Phillippe got married from that film, and then you and John got married from doing the stage adaptation.
Interesting.
I'm just
weird that Connie and I didn't end up running away together. If only.
If only. What a beautiful man.
Yeah. What a story. Like we love it. We love that we have that. Like that is how we met. And now we have like those videos and that memory of like literally falling in love with each other.
Jordan goes, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So how is I also got married recently. I was in yours, you were in mine.
Yes, that is true.
How's marriage been for you?
Amazing. I mean, it is funny talking because like we already know these things about each other, but we're really just talking about it so people can hear.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Amazing.
You guys are recently like me and Paul. Like you and I have always in our friendship had this weird connection on like, I mean, a lot of levels, but like mostly in our relationships, like we're always doing long distance at the same time with our partners.
Yeah.
In like a really strange way. And it's
so
like
we always could connect and complain to each other about
long distance. We actually like got a lot of people who had questions about long distance, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
we have lots to say.
But for those who don't know, Molly's husband is in the Tony Award winning Hadestown.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been in New York and Molly's been in LA. So what has that been like? Because obviously I have a similar situation with Paul, but
I mean, look, it's not easy. But also John and I, like when we met, we've been back and forth for 4 years. I mean, this is what we've done. And, I definitely think it will make or break you. Like it will either like make you incredibly close because you've gone through so much together, or you're not meant to be together and you'll find that out very quickly.
Yeah.
And luckily for both of us, it is because we're meant to be with them. But like, of course it's hard, but you find your routine and you find the things that work for you. And I am so blessed and lucky to have a job where every 3 weeks around then I have a break and I would go to New York. Or like he was on tour with Wicked for a while and I was able to go there and be with him, you know, a lot. And so
do you guys have like rules? Like Paul and I have like a 3 to 4 week rule where we don't go longer without seeing each other. Yeah,
this last year it was 3 weeks. There was one time I think we did 6, and that was like never again. Like never again.
I find too that like first week into like me and Paul not being with each other, I'm like, I got this. This is
Yeah.
not a big deal. This is fine. Then like week 2, like the like other stuff starts creeping in
Yeah,
of me
yeah,
being
yeah.
like, okay, I'm like going a little crazy. And then I turn into a psycho in
Yeah.
the 3rd week. And I'm like insecure and
Right
I'm
before you see him?
needy right before I see
Yeah.
him. So I'm like this like disgusting mess that he's probably in his head. He's like, I don't even want to see
Get
her.
me out of here.
I don't
Oh
even
no,
want to see her.
completely. I think that's actually like a very similar routine where right before you see each other, you know it's close and yet it's not tomorrow. And so you're just so anxious. And John and I don't have big fights. Like we argue, but we're lucky and we don't have big fights, but like we start to get kind of like short tempered around that time. And then when we communicate about it, which we're so great at because of the distance for all these years, we then like come to a conclusion and we're like, oh, right, none of this matters and we just miss each other. That's like literally what this all was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think I saw someone type, they said, do you take it day by day or do you like, how do you handle it? Yeah, you have to take it day by day. Like that's the only
Yeah.
way.
I mean,
and I
like
mean,
you're saying,
with
communication
knowing
is communication's key in any relationship, but like specifically when you're doing distance, like communication's all you have.
yeah,
So like if you're not a person who's able to like communicate and be 100% just I'm gonna say what I want to say when I want to say it, that's something very early on in our relationship that like
yeah,
I used to be this person who would not tell people what I needed or like what I wanted because I was afraid to hear the answer.
yeah,
Like I like knew what they were gonna say. Like I knew that they were gonna either be like, I'm not serious about this or I don't want a relationship or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I ingrained in myself to just like go with the flow because like I just didn't want to be rejected. So then when I started dating Paul, I would like talk in circles around things that I actually wanted to say. And finally one day he was like, hey,
yeah,
this thing's gonna work if we are just honest and we just like say whatever the hell we want to say when we want to say it. So we started doing right now.
hmm
So anytime
Oh.
either one of us was like staring off into the distance or like something, we say
What are
right
you
now.
thinking about?
And we had to say exactly what we're thinking about in that moment. It could be like
Sure.
the sky is blue, but without fail, it's given us kind of like the open forum to just like,
Yeah.
this is the time. If you have something that's bothering you, like this is the time to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what did someone just say? And now I forget because I'm drinking wine and I'm a lightweight and I'm drunk. Like literally 4 sips.
You can scroll.
Oh, what do you do when the other person doesn't communicate, but you're doing your part?
That's frustrating as hell. That happens too.
Yeah, sure. 100%. I mean, luckily, yeah, that just takes time, but you do have to be vocal about, like, it's also your job. If you're the one who's the good communicator, it's also your job to be like, hey, this is what I need from you right now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if they're not willing, that's a whole other thing. If it
Yeah.
takes them some time to work on it, because if it doesn't come naturally to them, like it's going to have to be something that you guys work on together and that's doable.
Yeah.
That's not really changing a person. That's like compromising within your relationship.
Yeah.
That's needed. But,
I
yeah.
mean, honestly,
both have a
like,
responsibility.
so I'm very open about the fact that like I go to therapy. I think therapy is great. And before we got married, Paul and I did like, you know, they recommend that you do like premarital counseling. You get like basically like a discount off of your
Yeah.
marriage license if you do. And so
Right.
we like went and we wound up loving it. So we have somebody that we talk to on occasion, and it's like sometimes I'll be like, hey, like I'm having a really hard time with long distance. Can I chat with you? And so we'll like hop on like a video chat with her, or if I'm home, we'll like go
Amazing,
into
yeah.
the office. And what I found that's really interesting is like sometimes like having that person who's that middleman is
Helpful.
really helpful, because like I noticed that like I'm a talker. Like I can talk and share my feelings and be open in that way
Yeah.
way more so than Paul. Obviously, like Paul's like the most chill, even keel like human being. But it's nice because like I could be like, this is what I'm dealing with and this is like the issue that I'm having, or this is what I need.
Yeah.
And then like she does the like, all right, and then what's happening with you? And then he shares, and it gives me like a completely different insight because we're communicating in a way that we don't normally communicate with each other, because
Yeah.
we're in a situation that's like lending ourselves to like fully be open and honest and you know, allowing us to candidly speak. And like, I'm like, okay, so when I do this thing, this is how you receive it. That's really interesting. And it's like,
because we're always in our own heads about things. And when you're with someone, like, you have to think about how they think and feel.
Yeah.
And the distance is definitely, it definitely is a massive deal with like figuring out how your partner's feeling, because you're forced to communicate. Like, you can't not. You can't just like FaceTime every once in a while and get by. Like, you either are connected or you're not, and you have to both be on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's very clear when you're not.
Yeah. Somebody just said, what should you say to your partner if you want to go to counseling and they don't really believe in it? I don't think counseling will work for anybody who's not like I don't even call it like therapy. Like, I don't think therapy works for people who like don't
doubt it
or
or
don't do it. Like, cause you're just gonna like make that, you're just gonna make that person sit in a room and like, they're not gonna want to talk. So it's like,
I mean, like,
you should go to counseling and like, maybe like just talk about what is positive that you're getting out of it. Like, don't force it on them. Just like, kind of like talk about what your experience of it is, and just like seeing you have a good experience might make that person more open-minded.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's hard. And look, a lot of people have a thing about it, which means that they've never done it. Because I know so many people in therapy, and it's
everyone needs therapy.
There's no reason. I think that people have like an idea about it, that it's like, oh, I have a problem. Oh, I'm in therapy, I need help. And that's just like not what it is. It's so much better than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say you can't force someone to do it. But if you need help, then that person, your partner, definitely needs to prioritize your relationship. That's the first thing you can ask.
Somebody just said not everyone can afford therapy. However, I have to find the website. If there's like some websites that like have like affordable therapy or whatever. But also like depending on your insurance, you can also like, they're starting to cover, I think people are starting to realize like the importance of mental health. So like therapy is starting to be covered by your insurance. So just saying.
Check it out.
So Carson from Texas sent me a story saying she's in a long distance relationship with a guy who's 2 years younger. And they have gone on one date, and then they started doing long distance. And she's worried that he's too immature for a long distance relationship, which I'm like, me and Molly both have stories like that.
Oh yeah.
I dated I had a boyfriend in high school that I dated around the time that I went to do American Idol. And I loved him. Like, I thought that I was in love. Now I like look back at times that I was in love and I was like, oh, like that was love to the capacity that I knew it to be. Anyways, I went to American Idol and like was trying to do the long distance thing. And for me, I was just like,
right.
I'm in Ryan, 2 years younger, so way to go, I think. Is that because Chelsea is 2 years older than you? Yeah, I think that's the answer. But I think she said that she's 24, he's 22. So a guy at 22 is young. And I was in high school, so my boyfriend was a year younger than me. But I had like moved to LA and I like thought that I was like this like seasoned human, and I was just like, I've lived a lifetime in the past 4 months. Like, I just felt like I had grown so much that I was like,
I mean, age, it's sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. Like,
I don't think age is the thing, but I think that like
maturity,
age and maturity don't always coincide.
Yeah. I mean, look, I dated a guy.
Take me and my brother, for instance. I'm just kidding, right? That's because he says that in everything he says. He's like, I'm her older brother, but really she's older than me. Yeah. So I'm not.
Well, if he says it, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not shitting on my brother. I'm using his words.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was in a long distance relationship with someone who wasn't younger than me, but just the maturity level is different than mine.
Can I won't give anything away, but so Molly's ex-boyfriend, she was dating him around the same time that I started dating. Oh, my brother's girlfriend says my boyfriend is 2 years younger and is so mature.
He is.
He is. But Molly and so I was dating Paul, Molly was dating this guy. And so Paul, for those of you who don't know, is in the band Boys Like Girls. So Molly and this guy, after a really long time, not after a really long time, but they break up, and it's been a really long time since I've seen him. And I walk into this house party and he's there, and I haven't seen him since you guys broke up, and I felt so awkward. I was immediately like, how do I escape? Where do I exit? And he was like, hey buddy. And I was like, ew, buddy, what? And then he goes, you're still with that guy, right? And I was like, yeah, we're getting married. This was like not that long ago.
Yeah.
And he goes, what's the name of his band? Cars Eat Food?
Yeah, that's it. That's definitely
Cars Eat, and I go, boys like girls.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Boys like girls.
Yeah.
Like, cars eat food? That doesn't even make any sense.
Because he thinks he's a funny guy.
I'm very protective. I was just like burning with my
eyes. I have to leave. Yeah, I mean, age is just a number, but if you're gonna do distance with someone who isn't willing to take it seriously, cut the cord.
Yeah.
It's going to be torture. I'm not saying, but like it is, and it's about trust. And because of that, and I said this before, you have to be on the same page. You have to be willing. And that step can't come from mistakes or like one day they wake up and they're like, oh my God, I messed up, I have to fix this. That's not how it works. You guys both need to be willing because you think the other person is worthy because you are worthy, and period. Yeah, so it's not an age thing. It's just like a matter of like, are we both willing to go through this? Because it's not going to be easy, you know?
Yeah.
Hey babe, can you turn the air conditioning up? I'm getting the wine sweats. It's hot.
I'm gonna need John to like bring the dog in at some point too.
And can you bring Max in? Are you watching?
He like comes in and it's like echoing.
Anyway.
Also, Abigail Adams asked, any luck with dating apps? Have you used them for casual hookups, or do we know anyone where it's worked? I know a lot of people where it's worked.
Yeah, especially now.
Our friend Lauren is getting married to a guy, Bumble. She met him on Bumble.
I think it was Bumble.
It's really
Lauren,
good.
if you're on this.
Oh, it is. Can you turn up the air? I'm
turned
sweating.
it up.
Hi,
Now I want it up. I'm sweating. This is Maxine, baby girl.
Oh my.
Oh, is she
God.
napping? Hi there, Maxine, baby. She's literally asleep. She's got...
Hi, John.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
I love you.
That's Molly's husband.
Yeah, I'm so...
Also, John, I need
I'll
you
turn
to
the
know.
AC on. Yes.
Wait. Okay, so last night, first and foremost, I made Paul, me and our friend Brandon, who has been quarantining with us for 3 weeks.
oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so Brandon used to be our old roommate. He lives alone. We told him to come quarantine with us.
Oh,
so
good.
Anyways, Paul had never seen A Few Good Men, so we made him watch A Few Good Men, obviously. And then somehow we got on the topic of Broadway musicals, and Paul admitted to, other than like seeing us in Cruel Intentions and like seeing he's never seen a Broadway musical.
It like blows my mind, but because I was so
I
young,
to take him on a musical theater journey,
Oh,
and
correct.
just played a bunch of Tony performances for him.
Oh, what an
And
afternoon.
We should
And
send him
then-
your Wikipedia doc.
Yeah.
and then I
Excited.
proceeded to play him your Hadestown Tony performance, and the whole
Cool.
time I was like, "There's John, there's John,
He's there.
And then I was telling him about how you were gonna go on for the lead, and Paul looked at me and he goes, "So do I have to kill this guy?" Or
That's a good
he was
friend.
like, "Cause I will."
It was about to happen. It's going to
I know,
happen.
that's
again.
It's gonna happen.
That is Corona's fault. That is what that is.
Woof.
Brandon just said she played 3 hours of musicals to clarify. Truth.
Like,
Very
let's be
true.
clear here.
Good. Very proud of you.
Good. You didn't let him let up. You were
But he's like
"Let's
very
be
excited
patient."
about it now. So I think that to
We were
pop
watching
his
Sweeney
musical,
Todd right there.
to pop his musical cherry, I think
Hadestown.
it needs to be Hadestown.
I would be honored. As
Oh.
soon as we're back,
Oh yeah.
come to New York.
Oh, he'll love it. He'll
Done.
love it.
I told him, I was like, can we go and do like a week and just like go see a show like every day or every other day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
He's into it. I love that.
Well, that was my suggestion. He said yes.
Good.
Oh, good.
I'm down.
I love it.
I'll give you guys a backstage
I
tour
love
and
you. I
everything.
love you both.
Yes.
Hi.
Picture
All right,
Um,
have fun.
Look
Is
at your
this-
cute, look at your cute family.
Yeah. We
Love
have a
this.
baby.
Somebody goes, "Where's your husband?" I made him up. I'm kidding.
He
I'm
doesn't
kidding.
exist. Everyone keeps writing. It looks like that you're in the bull type.
Right?
Looks like you're
Okay,
in the
so I like
fashion
did that on purpose. So everybody's like, "You have a big closet." I do have a big closet. My mother taught me well.
Yeah.
Look for a house with
Priorities.
a big closet.
Yeah.
Priorities. Like the rest
Yeah.
of my house could be garbage, but the closet
Sure.
has to be good.
Your space.
But yeah, so I designed. Well, my mother, she'll get so pissed at me if I don't give her credit. My mother designed my closet.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, she designed my closet.
Is it color
and then-
coordinated?
Yeah. I color coordinated it. That was like day one of quarantine.
Oh, okay. Oh, you recently did it. I was like, is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
always
So
your
I
thing?
have dresses,
Yeah.
long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, shorts, pants,
Wow.
casual jackets, blazers, and
Okay.
sweaters.
Well, those aren't color. Okay, so one side is color coordinated and the other.
No,
is
these are all
categorized.
color coordinated, but I like just don't have enough of
Yeah.
like the same colors.
The only thing I have color coordinated are I do have the apps on my phone color coordinated.
That's too much for me.
It's just because I mean, long distance, man. Like one night I sat in bed and I was like, here I am. And I just moved them all around.
Yeah.
And was it worth it? Not really.
Yeah. See, Clara Stevens popping in here going, "Yes, I did."
Yes.
So my entire life, no matter where we lived, my mom always had a closet. Like my mom would like choose a room that was supposed to be like a bedroom. My mom
Yeah.
would turn into a closet. And it wasn't a closet for her and my father to share. Because my dad is like, do you remember the cartoon Doug Funny?
Yeah. You mean Doug?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, his name was Doug Funny, but
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
Doug. How his closet was just like khaki shorts
The
and then,
same
like green vests.
outfits. Yeah, his name was
That's my
SpongeBob.
dad's closet. My dad's closet is khaki polo and like one pair of denim and some
Yeah.
button downs and then suits from when
Yeah.
he
Simple.
was working. Yeah.
That's all you need.
But my mom has shoes, scarves, like the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it.
Anyways, let's get back to
I
relationships.
can't believe it's already 5:45. Like time flies.
Time
You're talking to your
flies.
best friend. Okay.
This is very fun. Okay,
What
so
happened to your
back to
finger?
the
Oh,
thing.
you already said that. Never mind.
Oh, I sliced my finger for those of you
Someone came
just
in.
joining us. I didn't do it during this chat, but
Does your dad
yesterday-
work at Target?
My dad doesn't work at Target.
but it does sound.
Funny story. My dad worked at a manufacturing company for most of my life, and then his company closed, and he was out of a job for a while. And my godparents own a funeral home, so my dad started working at the funeral home. 6 feet under kind of stuff.
There you go.
Have you ever had luck with dating apps? Back to this question because we never
Okay.
answered it.
Yeah.
Would you
Lobo.
use it for back when we were single, would you use it for casual hookups, or do we know anyone who it's worked for? And we were saying Lauren Randall, our
Mhm.
friend, is getting married, and she met the most amazing man on
Perfect
Bumble,
for her.
I
I
believe.
think it is Bumble. I think that's right. Or is it
I think so.
Hinge?
Maybe it was either Hinge or Bumble, like one of those ones that's like not
Yeah.
scary and threatening.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
God. I forgot that we do need to talk about our worst dating stories before this all ends.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
I met Paul.
Yeah.
I met Paul like the month that Tinder started. So I think I was on it for like a couple weeks and was getting the like you up texts, and I was like, not for me.
Yeah. No, I think I used it. I used a little bit, like really a little bit.
For what?
Look, I was always looking for someone that I could spend time with. I wasn't ever like, let's see what someone's doing late tonight. Like,
Oh
but
my gosh,
I did
yes.
feel like
So John,
Hi,
John
Jesse.
from Boys Like Girls, and hi Jesse. John from Boys Like Girls, the drummer, and Gabby, who it's their anniversary today. They met on Tinder.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a thing. Like, I would just be cautious. You're talking to strangers.
My husband and I met on Tinder. Look at all these dating app
Woo!
success stories. I love this.
Yeah, no, I love it. Just be cautious because you're talking to strangers. And I'm not up to date.
Oh, my
with the
husband's
apps,
on here.
but I know he's there. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I do know that there are some where you can know if you have mutual friends with those people, which is a little safer in my book. But you never know.
Oh, okay. So, I got in trouble. I remember. So my parents hadn't met Paul yet, and one of our like first dates, we went to First Fridays in Venice.
Love.
Which is like they do it like Venice Beach. They do this night where they have like all these food trucks lining up on the street, and you like go and you just like get food from food trucks. And there was one that we got food at called Baby's Badass Burgers, and the truck had a burger, and it said, under the burger it said, "I want to be inside you." And Paul asked me to take a picture of it, and I took a picture of him, and then when he posted it, I commented on it, and I was like, I don't even know, which way do you swipe on Tinder to accept people, right?
Right?
Let's just say it was right.
I
was
think
like,
right.
I like was trying to be flirty, and I was like, I'd swipe right. And then like my dad, who only follows like me and my brother and can see like
Right.
all the activity that happens on our Instagrams, my dad was like, who is this guy? I want to be inside you.
I love your dad so much.
How embarrassing.
He was like, this is public and inappropriate. Well, when parents are on the social medias,
Lorette
see
was
too
in
much.
here. Also, can we talk
She was?
about for a second? Yeah, she said hi.
Hey.
Can we talk about for a second how cool I think it is? Well, first of all, like I am obsessed with John McCook to the ends of the earth and Lorette. But the fact that your mom was on Battlestar Galactica, that has to be like the sexiest thing ever.
Yeah, it's the coolest. It's the coolest. She,
And you can watch your mom like I don't know what my mom looks like at my age, really. Like I've seen like
Photos.
blurry home videos, but like
Sure.
I have footage of like TV shows that you can watch your parents in from when they were your age, which I think is wild.
yeah, I know. I love it. And they did some things together too once they were together, which is like, those are my favorite ones to watch.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Yeah, it's the best. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing it.
We were just talking about dating horror stories. We can start it off because my mom in the comments just reminded me. So one of my mom's like worst date stories actually turned out to be how she met my dad.
I love that.
So my mom was, I'll probably tell this like maybe wrong and she'll comment and correct me, but my mom started off, she went to a fundraiser this one night she saw my dad on a payphone, and my dad was wearing his college ring, but it was like turned around like this. So my mom was like, I'm not gonna say anything to him, he's married.
Right.
And then the next day she had a date with this guy, and this was back before we had cell phones and before you could like not, you know, tell people you weren't going to make it or whatever.
Right.
So my mom was like waiting at this bar for this guy. First of all, Mom, why didn't you ask him to pick you up? That's like the first part of the story I don't understand. Anyways, first red flag. But then he stood her up, and my dad was at that same bar the next night. He was at that same bar, and he was across the way, and he came up to my mom and he was like, are you following me? Because he recognized her from the night before. And so her date was like hours and hours late. And in that time, she started talking to my dad. And then in the most badass fashion, the dude finally shows up, and he's like, sorry, I had car troubles. Wah, wah, worst excuse in the book. And my dad was like, sitting next to my mom, and he was like, all right, so my friends are next door. The guy said this, my friends are next door, I'll wait for you to finish your drink and then we could head over and meet them. And my mom goes, no, I'll wait for you to leave and then I'll finish my drink. So then the guy left, and my mom and dad were sitting there, and my dad was like, do you want to go piss him off and walk over there together?
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Your parents met at a magazine party?
Yeah, they did. Like, I think, again, and correct me, Mommy, if you're still here, I think it was People Magazine, or it was something big that it was like the beginning of, or something like that.
Oh,
and it was here in LA. And I don't even think they were necessarily talking. They definitely didn't go there together or know each other, but they happened to be talking. And a photographer took a photo of them together, and then like in a magazine or wherever it said like, you know, new couple alert, John McCook and Lorette Spang. And then my dad got her phone number from someone else, like
Lorette,
and called and was like, yes. And then my dad called and was like, hey, do you want to make these rumors true and go out with me, or, you know, whatever. Like, people are saying, yeah. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah. So cute.
What
Would
is
Molly
your-
like to guest appear on the Bold Type? Yeah, I would. Dream.
All right. So
Guys,
here's
I'm
the thing
such
is,
a
I'm
fan.
like, did Good Trouble ruin this for me? Like,
What do you
could you still be on the Bold Type if you were on Good Trouble?
Oh, I don't know. Is that a rule?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm just gonna like
Not as
go to
Rebecca.
producers. And
Oh.
I'm gonna go to the producers and be like, hey.
I don't think Rebecca would be in that world, but you know, that could be someone else.
Well, we'll just make you look different than you looked as Rebecca, and you'll just be on the Bold Type, because that would be my
wig.
dream.
Give me a wig.
Or you and I, here's the thing. Why don't we we'll figure it out. We'll do a 90s-esque rom-com about two best friends.
I don't need you to say anymore.
And you and I will star in it.
Katie, I love rom-coms so much.
Molly,
I love the
you and I
90s
both.
so much.
Do you know, it's literally it's my dream to just be like I'll be Julia Roberts circa the like 90s.
Yep.
Like minus, like we could even do it like minus the Oscar.
You be Julia, I'll be Kate Hudson.
No,
And-
you're Meg Ryan.
And I'll be Meg Ryan. I'm sorry, it was the wrong time, but I was instantly, for some reason, thinking about 10 How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I just love it
Amazing.
too. I love
You're
everyone.
the best.
I love all of those women.
We
more
could
than
be
anything in the
Cameron
world.
Diaz and Julia Roberts in My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yeah. I don't want to remake it. I don't want to touch that movie.
No,
Because it's perfect the way it is.
Nothing needs to be remade. Nothing needs
Correct.
to be remade. I'm sick of all this stuff being remade. Let's just like, any writers out there who are watching, can you just write new ones?
Yeah, like, or
Let's
here's my
do
thing,
it together.
Like, I don't
Jordan!
like.
Jordan, write me and Molly
What are we
a
writing?
90s rom-com about two best friends. Make it fun.
Yeah.
Let's pitch it to
Like-
Netflix.
There are so many things. I think that people are afraid to like repeat stories, but like things are gonna repeat. They're gonna be the same kind of premise. Like, but don't call it the same movie. Like, just call it something else and let's say that it's
Well,
something
but I'm
else.
like, look at all of these movies. Like, what was like She's the Man was based off of a Shakespeare play. You know, like let's like remake things like that.
Oh yeah. Yes. Base
Yes.
it off of things.
Hi,
Anyway.
Claire.
Hi, Claire.
Um,
And Jesse and Jordan and Paul. I love
literally
them.
all of our friends are in this.
That makes me happy.
I love this. Somebody talked about we could either talk about or we could do both. We have like 4 minutes left. Although I don't know, does this just go for an hour and then it counts you down and it finishes? That sucks.
Oh, I've never done it. I have no idea.
I've never done it this long. But we'll see what it says. I'll keep an eye
Yeah.
out. Somebody had a story about being ghosted.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah. What was their story? What was their question? Oh, it was their story.
Their story was like they were with somebody for like 9 months, and they felt like they were going to be with this person, and then they ghosted them. I personally got ghosted by somebody, and it happened to be the guy that I dated before Paul. And honestly, thank God he ghosted me because.
Right. I don't know, man. Like, I have to say, I was talking to one of my really good friends about this because she's like talking to a guy that us friends don't approve of. But like, granted, I'm not going to say that I was able to, oh my God, Jesse said Starbucks because we call Starbucks breakup Starbucks because I got broken up with.
You got broken
I'll
up with
tell
at
that story.
Starbucks?
I did. Yeah. Anyway, what all I'm gonna say is that
Pinkston, you're so stupid. Pinkston goes, yeah, it was me. Paul and I were talking about
he ghosted me.
Kimmy,
Okay, I lost it. I'm gonna talk about Starbucks.
My best friend Kimmy goes, literally the queen of getting ghosted.
Oh my
Okay,
God. I love her.
actually, Kimmy, you can tell me to stop, but I have not, like, my bad dates are like, I got picked up by somebody for a date in a monster truck. He took me to a movie and his car was too big to even like get into the garage. And then he tried to kiss me at the end of the night after taking me to see Django on a date, which like great movie, but like maybe not a date movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
And yeah, but Kimmy's got the best story ever. She like went out with this guy for like a really long time. Tell the world about finger guns. Okay. I'm telling you about the finger gun story. So my best friend since I was 6 years old, Kim, she went on a date with this guy and he seemed to be like the best, like awesome dude. Like she introduced him.
Feed times out after 1 hour. Instagram needs to change that. Okay, so it will be turning off.
Oh fuck. Well, I can like end it, save it, and then we can come back.
Okay.
Because this is fun and I don't want to.
I just have like a few stories to tell that are necessary.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
look how red
yeah.
my
I'll
cheeks
save
are.
them both and I'll
can't
post them
have
both and it'll be great.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but will it count me down or will it just like end? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna start the story. If it cuts me off, I'll come back to it. So Kimmy's dating this guy, my best friend, and he's like a dreamboat. She keeps telling me like how much she likes him, calling me, telling me all these stories. He's like taking her out on these dates, whining and dining her, all of this stuff. So she sleeps with him for the first time and it's bad. And like in the
Ryan, you're stressing me out. Ryan's counting down. He's giving me anxious.
Ken!
Hi, Ken. I love you.
In the middle of them sleeping together, this guy gets up to go get some water.
No.
And then, is it going to count me down? It's going to count me down.
Is it counting you down?
Okay, I have to end it, and then we're going to come back. We're going to come back. Ryan, you messed it up. -2, -1.
Okay, okay.
All right. I also need to figure out how to save this so I can post it as an IGTV. We might fail. Let's see. All right. We'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
I want to end